don't do anything for y'all, crumbs are given.
Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Amani, and I want to talk about Nic and my observations. And the fans are very intense, and they're all over the internet in places that I've never seen before this season, and it kind of looks bad in some places. I'm going to be honest. Now, I'm a fan of so many different people that I probably was one of the first people that even knew about Christian and who designed Olandria's dress, because I've loved Christian and his work since Project Runway and him designing outfits for Whoopi Goldberg. I have so many different interests, you guys, like sports and, the arts. I'm in the arts. That whole field, is kind of like my jam. And Nic, this is my interpretation from the information. He self-interviewed himself. I don't know that I listened to all of it, but I know from watching the show, and why diabetes is important to him, and probably even why he got into nursing. I don't like some of the reviewers kind of put their own spin on people's thoughts and stuff. So I'm not going to do that, y'all. But I joined Snapchat, actually, not because of Nic, but I joined Snapchat, and y'all, I do not know how to use it other than doing improvised characters for the filters. That's pretty much what I enjoy, but I'm not quite sure how to utilize it. But I follow the Cabs family on Instagram and YouTube for years. They also helped get me through the pandemic. I love the Cabs family. They're amazing, and they're having another baby. Okay, anyways, this is about someone else. So they were, months ago, they were like, follow us on Snapchat, follow us on Snapchat. For a while, they've been saying that, but I'm like, I'm never joining Snapchat, because the only Snapchat I knew of was doing arts education work in the schools, and how kids in a way used it to bully because the messages would disappear in 24 hours. So Snapchat didn't necessarily have the best reputation when it came to young teenagers, and that's who really used it back in the day, right? So I became aware of probably Kendall using Snapchat, and after the Cats family, and then Justine, love me Justine, um, and then because there's so many people covering Nic and Olandria, like it's fever pitch. There was a lot. No, this has surpassed every season of Love Island. I'll just be honest. Not so much Nic. He just has a few, but like for Olandria, just and they've all died down. Like the Shelley pages have died down. I'm like, where did everything go? I think there's one now. I have to there it always starts out that way, just so you know. But with Olandria, it's different. It is continued, and they're growing. Okay. Who else? Who else did I know that was on Snapchat? Yeah, I think I knew Olandria was on it, and then Nic kind of after, but I thought Kendall or maybe Jeremiah. Anyway, definitely the Cabs family and Justine were kind of my incentive. And then Nic posted on Snapchat a lot because the reviewers posted him posting on Snapchat a lot, and his friend Quan. So I followed Olandria, Quan, Nic, Jeremiah. I followed Tyreek, Justine, Serena. Um, it's hard. I can't navigate it well, okay? Anyways, but what my observation is, he lost a family member, and that has changed his whole trajectory of how he's going to live. You know, I lost a sister, my mother, my father, friends, lost 2 friends. One, you know, I knew, because she had breast cancer, but it spread, and then it was, you know, it was sudden, but I knew that she had cancer. My second friend died suddenly, diabetes complications, and I was, I don't, I still, it's still hard for me, really hard, because I talked to her the day before I came home. I logged on, and one of her best friends said I was so confused because I was talking to her. And so we all deal with losing people differently. We don't talk about grief a lot. I'm comfortable talking about it. I think it's important. So obviously what happened with Nic and his family member, and Nic is young. I think I forget how young these people are, you know, but they're very young. I mean, Justine, I think, is like the oldest. She's 32, but they're all like 24, 25, 26, 27, you know, they're all pretty young. And death affects you. And there's so many different reasons it can. So what I see is it made Nic like a nomad. He's a nomad, right? Like traveling the world, just kind of living out of a suitcase, all of those things. And that's kind of been his life, you know? Yeah, and I heard him, I listened to him when he said he was over modeling. Like he's done that since he was however years old, and he's out of that. But now he's dating Olandria, and of course, this is her world, okay? So this is going to be her focus, and he loves it for her. He loves it for her, but he doesn't love it for him. And if you notice, when they had one of their first events, when he had to dress himself, not when the Reismans came in, the Reismans came on, but he always does this, I'm going to dress down so Olandria shines. And okay, and so then there was an event last night, and because I follow him on Snapchat now, I saw that he was late, that he was calling himself Chopped, you know, but Olandria looks great. So I'm just noticing some of the self-deprecation, okay? He's not the most organized. So since I have followed Nic, I see his diet is terrible. There were food posts of what he ate yesterday, and there's nothing healthy. It was pizza and Fanta, and I'm not a mother, but I'm just like, oh my gosh, right? After the show, he's been in his car. You know, he needs a place to live. In one of the interviews, he talked about Alondria's going to help him get clothes. He had to borrow Jeremiah's sweater for one of his interviews. He looked really nice yesterday when he went to the basketball game, and then he had to do something else, and he had on the same sweater because he's like, yeah, I know I had this on at the game or something. So what I've noticed is those things are not a priority to him. He's been on stage with no shoes on, just socks, on one of his Greek Fest DJing gigs. He, you know, so that type of stuff, it is definitely not important to him. And it could be a combination of him just being a nomad for so many years, kind of not having to rely on anybody. he's and he was in a relationship for a while, and then they broke up, right? And he said that, so after that, he traveled for a year and a half, like to clear his head. And then, boom, he's on Love Island. And boom, he beats Olandria, okay? So I just think it's going to take him time to catch up to everything that's happened in his life. From losing his family member to his ex-girlfriend to Love Island. And I feel like he's not the type that necessarily likes to deal with things, especially things that are heavy. Like, to me, this kid, this guy, this young guy, he's still grieving. That's what I see. I don't know, but that's how I feel. I feel like, yeah. But he has a great, supportive, wonderful family. They really, really, really like Olandria. And so, it's a good thing. And he lights up, like you see him caring for Olandria. I've always said I don't care what they are, but I love how he treats her. But now he will have to change some things. And what I do like about Olandria is I don't think she pressures him to be anything other than he is. But I think that they're so opposite, you guys. But I do think they will balance each other out, and I think Olandria will really be good for him. I really think so. I think if they can just really be away from everybody, and that is the fans is too. Like, I'm a fan of the show, but I'm not like, I saw somebody created wedding pictures. I was like, yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot. And they're both very open, and that's just not the norm. And I will tell you who is really like that surprised me last season, and that's Serena. I just never ever pictured her being that way with the fans, but I remember when they first got off the island and stuff, and they went to New York to see Ariana's show in New York. And what happened is they were more popular than Ariana. When they came out of that Broadway show, the fans were there for them. And I remember Serena just rushing over with her arms open to hug them. And I just never thought she would have that type of personality. And I was so surprised. Um, but I know from listening to her, Serena suffers from really bad anxiety, and she just did a great interview that I posted if you guys have time to look at it. Nic, I just feel like he needs a break. He just partied every night from August on. As much as people think that's great and normal, I don't. And I'm just an outsider. And then, after doing all of that with hardly any sleep, he ran a marathon. So his life probably has been a bit unsettled for a while, and now it has to get settled. The way Nic looks, how he is, he's his own person. And I did not love his outfit last night, but everyone's like, he looks great, he looks great. I don't think he looked chopped, but I just think that this is who he is, right? And that if he was a model for a long time and he's kind of over that stuff, I think he just has to get used to the world that they're now both in. Because now he's in a different world, and he's in it with Olandria. But from what I see, the TikToks, from what I saw, like when they did the Nics together, he loves doing the gigs with her. He loves that. I feel like they both love that. I feel like that's when they show that's when they'll show more affection in public, is on these ads. They're both comfortable like that, but my hope for them is that after all of this, I'm like, is there more? That they really can take a vacation, a break, and be together and be offline. Just as a content creator, I was like, I have a life, and I know last night I saw, it's like, oh no, there's another event. So I did, I wanted to feed my subscribers, so I did post a few things. And but I went out. I took myself out to dinner because I've been like on this trying to get healthier. We all deal with grief and we deal with things different. And so I definitely have had a rough year medically, like crazy. And one of the ways that I deal with things is caramel fudge nut granola bars. So Nic has pizza and, but yeah, but I think we all have different ways that we cope, that we deal. I think that he probably needs time with his family. And I love that he's really close to his family and that he needs alone time with Olandria so they can like work out, this thing that they have. And she's on the rise. Christian designed her dress. I don't know if people even understand what that means. And I just don't know if people understand, and I understand. This is bigger than everything else that's gone on, right? And she is, I love how she's so comfortable in that world and everything, but this is going to be her world. This is going to be her life. And Nic is going to be DJing and doing, the things he does. And it's so different. But I do think they can work. They seem to have very strong communication. And really that's all I have to say. I worry about him and everything and how he lives. I feel like he needs a person, like what do you call it? A personal assistant or some type of person in his life that helps him. Meal plans, and it's not just going to be Olandria, right? I know that they both got a place. I feel like they both, okay, I'm going to test my psychic ability. I feel like they both got a place in Texas. Or I could be wrong. That's why I think so. I know they each got a place. The reason I think, I don't know. I could be wrong. That's my guess, so we'll find out. We'll find out if it's LA. I know with Nic, I feel like he was like, it could be this many places. And Olandria is like, it could be this many places. And they both had Texas in their list. So that's just kind of my guess. Okay, so we'll see. But yeah, I do kind of worry about him. But I hope he can rest after this. I don't know what Olandria has next. I don't understand if they chose to forego the Power 100 because that happened as well. And so I was confused. I was like, are there two separate events? But there can't be two because I didn't see Teyana Taylor either, but they had the reunion from the girlfriends. Y'all's favorite Islander, Ace, was there. And then Shelly was at this other event. So I don't know if it's something where today we'll see that they went there after. Because that's what I had in my notes was November 4th was the Power of 100. I knew about the CDFA because the fans are so like eager to figure everything out. They figured it out, so I figured that's where she was gonna be. But yeah, I just, yeah. So it might have cut out because I'm just talking. I'm not like recording into a vlog or anything. I'm just gonna post a few pictures and go along with this. This is how I did my reviews. But yeah, so yeah, and on my page, I do not understand. I'm here to lift up whoever I post, whoever, even if you don't like it, just don't comment. But there's a thing about energy and about positive energy. And I can tell you, as somebody dealing with a brain injury and some other things over the last year that were very difficult just to get through the day. And I have to be a positive thinker. I have to stay positive because the alternative is to just be depressed and not do anything. And I'm like, I refuse to be like that. I refuse to be like that. And so I wondered if I was going to do YouTube because of this, because it can be such a negative place. And that's why when the incident that happened with that other person, you'll see I just did one post on it, and it just had what I thought the headline should be. And then it just became the focus of everything. And that took the focus off of Olandria. And it's still like that. And that interviewer from Extra TV, she is so messy, y'all. She asked Shelly about Huda. She asked Janae about oh, did she ask Janae about the season 7 cast? And oh yeah, she's messy. She is messy. I don't know her name, but she's good. But I will say that Shelly answered that question like a boss. Janae was just Janae. She danced all around it, but didn't really, because they're trying to put people on the spot. And just because they're on Love Island, I don't know if they're asking all the white people if they're friends with everybody from all the other seasons. Now, I happen to know who has connected. Justine and Serena have spent time together. They've also been on some brand deals together. Janae and Serena, of course, they're besties, but Leah's part of that group. But I know that Olandria did. She had that gig with Serena. They'll meet on different things, but you can't just expect them to be best friends. I also, going back to Nic, he really needed to talk. When he went to Celsius, that was one of the things he said, talking to Rob and Kendall, of all people. So just being honest, Kendall is not many people's favorite person because of how messy he was on his season and how he treated Serena. And Serena still does not talk to him. Janae does. She always has. So Kendall is like, Kendall. That's it. I don't have any words. I saw him on Love Island Games, and he's definitely a bit better than he was before. He definitely is happy with Rob, but he's happy with whoever. I feel like for Kendall, I'm sorry, I've gone off topic, but I feel like for Kendall, being seen, being happy is very important to him. I don't know who Kendall really is, and what he went through on the show, I don't know, but I just, You know, I don't know. And Rob, I don't understand Rob, but you know, if that's who Nic identifies with the most, I'm just like, he's not the best towards the young women on the show, Mr. Rob. But, you know, and he's different. But yeah, it is what it is. But Nic said talking to them, asking them how they dealt with it, how they cope with things. So you can tell that's something that he really needs. Now, I know from other seasons, from Leah, from Bergie, especially those two, that you do get help. They do have a therapist available to you, I feel like, for quite some time after the show. And I do hope that they're utilizing that because it's going to be tough. Another thing that you guys are probably not going to like, but what I'm going to say is I feel like the fans of Nic and Olandria online also appear, not all of you, appear like bullies. It comes off very bad online. I don't, and I'm not on Twitter and I don't go on pages to read comments a lot, but because I've seen it just randomly in other places, the back and forth. This went on last season too, and I don't know, I guess I'm just not into it. And it's not all young people, you know. It just, I don't know. I'm too old fashioned, y'all. I'm too old fashioned. It looks terrible. It really looks terrible. And then I don't agree with anything that happened with the lady, H. And that guy, Louis, so I've known about him from time because Louis and Miguel and another guy were all besties, always. And Louis has been on lots of shows. Too Hot to Handle. That's his thing. That's his thing. And that's, you know, him and H. It's probably, I don't, here's what I'll say of fans of of people, reviewers that are more into it than maybe you guys that have just seen season 7. They're not fans of Louis. They are not fans of Louis even being for H because they think it's going to be the cause of her demise, and we're starting to see that now. I personally am not a fan of her. It's terrible how she was on the show. She should have been kicked off the show, but the producers did try to get her off. Let's be real. I definitely did reviews on the show, and the cast kept her on because when they're on the show, they were friends and they saved her. Because that show, that Lock and Key, was definitely set up for her to go. There were 2 instances. So I'm just going to say they definitely did, in their way, try. I'm not a fan of the producers and editing. And what else did I, yeah. And so her losing the brand deal, like with Huda Beauty, that will be devastating to her because if you saw, which is good, because it's a life lesson. But do y'all understand that she is a mother, and even though she's not with her child, I can't judge, I don't know, right? But this is how she's to earn her living. So I did see somebody say that her agency should drop her too. And listen, did y'all see Michael, what's his name, Sheen, Charlie Sheen? Have you seen some of what happens in Hollywood with people that still work, you know? So it is my hope that she has learned her lesson. And the thing is, when you are enabled and you never have to be accountable for anything. She didn't have to be accountable on the island because everybody still babied her. She didn't have to be accountable off the island because of her fans and everybody. She just isn't accountable. And so this is either going to make her accountable or it's not. That's the last one I'm going to speak on it. So, but I don't think her agents and her manager is a black woman. Just FYI, in case people don't know. So I hope that she can be accountable, and I hope that they don't. She's lost 2 huge brand deals. That's like hundreds of thousands of dollars. Like, that's even for the agency. I think people say it like it's something easy. That is not something easy. And what I saw from some of the fans when people were writing about it, they were attacking these professional publications, and it looks really bad. Even if you're defending Olandria, you're supporting her. I don't know. I'm too old school. My support would be writing letters, emailing that, not just having it all online that way. I did agree with the online stuff, for the knuckle sandwich, and things that were going on during the show were really terrible. And there were reviewers online who fought for them, regardless of how you feel now. Jessie Wu, and there's another lady, I can't remember her name, but they really, really went to bat for them with BuzzFeed. So, there are professional people, and they all belong to the top agencies. Nic is in the #1 agency. Olandria is in the #1 agency with an incredible team, as you see. They all are. They all are. And that's what agencies do. They'll deal with everything, So I don't know. This is my message to the very intense fans about manifestation. I mean, it's great, but hundreds of thousands of people just lost their benefits in the States, and in Canada we're dealing with things here with this major bill, and I hope that the fans can just ease up a bit. You can still be a fan and a stan and a fandom and uplift and care for people on these shows, but it looks bad. It does look bad, the fighting. I mean, it was bad when the show was going on the Love Island wall, and then it's just it's everywhere, and it just really doesn't look good. And that's all I have to say. And I just want the best. I want the best for everybody. That's me. I'm too old to hate young strangers that I don't know. I cannot approve, and I don't really post or talk about them. There's just people that I like from the show, and then sometimes I follow people that I don't necessarily like so that I can get the story or have different things put together. I had somebody from season 6 still on, and he a whole lot of racial things happened, but I somehow was still following him. I don't know that I meant to. I know that when everything happened, I was checking because of his mental health. But then he popped up in my feed yesterday, and I was like, no, I don't need to follow him. But yeah, sometimes when the season is on, I still check to see what's going on, because it's not my life. I enjoy creating the stories. I enjoy the reviews. And I think I'm enjoying YouTube. Like, yeah, I'm almost monetized, you guys. So thank you so much. And anybody who listens to this long thing, thanks. You can blame that guy, the man Stan, or Stan the man, or man of the Stan, who is a fan of Olandria. He's pretty cool. Yeah, he's a white guy from, is it Louisiana, I think? Um, so yeah, you can blame him for me doing this today. But I also did this for my reviews when I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm not going on camera every day. I just can't. So yeah, if you do listen to this, thank you. And yeah, I hope Nic can be with his family soon. And that he can get a personal assistant, and that him and Olandria can have some time together away from everything. But Nic is addicted to online. I said that in my reviews or something before the show. He has like, I don't know how many accounts on YouTube, and you see him on Snapchat. He be snapping, chatting, and running in a marathon. Like, who does that? I don't know. Now, I take a lot of vlog and pictures and things from I do stuff on Instagram, or yeah, I'm just so used to vlogging because I travel. I used to, I travel solo. I do all these things. I'm always documenting things and putting it together. But this is from my life before all this brain stuff, but newsletters and different things. And, as self-employed, I work full time. So it's just part of being a self-employed artist. I've always had to document, kind of do everything myself. And so that's always been a part of my life. But not necessarily, but I still don't necessarily share everything. Never did. Never did. Always been selective since the day I joined Facebook. And before that, MySpace. And before that, I was in the chat rooms in the 90s. So yeah, now they call that discourse. It's the same things, different generation, same thing, different name, same thing. Unhealthy behavior of people, same thing. Because the chat rooms, it was like that too. Everything happening now online, I guess, if I think about it, the chat rooms were crazy. And people would chase people out of the rooms and attack people. So I guess it's something about being behind a computer and feeling safe. I guess that's what it is, because yeah, that's what it is. So it's been going on for a long time, and I left the chat room because of it. So anyways, all right, that's it. But thank you so much for subscribing, for listening. Thank you for keeping positive, so many of you. I appreciate you so much. I just do. I really do. And I'm looking forward to building a community. I've been looking at some of the women that I really like on YouTube. Like, I know that I'm not just going to review shows all year, but if I do revert to that, because it's the only way I can, no, I know that I can't do that. I can just do Love Island. but I look forward to building a community, finding artists, and having subscribers for different things, and having more things on arts and culture. That's what I'm excited about. And yeah, and the positivity of it all. All right, so take care, stay blessed, and like I always say, that's what's up. And of course, I have to say, please like and subscribe. I'm on a slow ride to 1,000 subscribers. It is so funny. It's like 811. 813. It just stays like that for a long time. It's like 901. 907. I don't know what I'm at now, but it was just like, it just stays at these numbers as I inch closer. As I watch these other people just get the thousands so fast. I see another lady too. She's putting in the work. And you just have to stay consistent, but it's funny. And then I'm like, what do I do when I get monetized? I'm still trying to understand all of that, y'all. Anyways, thanks again. Stay blessed, stay positive. Really try to do something good online and offline. It's great. It's great to love the Islanders and be a fan, but really, really be cognitive of the parasocial relationships and your manifestations. Because you know what? As a person of faith too, you know, I don't know, what we say, what we do can have a lot of effects. So let's really try to keep it as saying, as a person of faith too, let's really try to keep it positive. What we say, what we do, whether online or offline, like it does make a difference. And look at Olandria. Olandria said what she had to say and went on about her life. Meanwhile, the whole world was fighting and arguing on behalf of her, and she said what she had to say and moved on, you know? So I guess for people that are really hardcore fans of hers, just look at how she moves. Look at how she moves. Okay, thank you so much. And that's what's up.
Tell me, if you could honor a woman in your life because they've been so amazing, who would you honor and why?
Olandria because against all odds, she's been overcoming a lot of obstacles these past couple months, and I'm proud of her.
Way to go. Thank you so much for coming by.
Thank you.
Have fun.